Having a package get lost in the mail.
Is it UPS again?
They didn't even reach UPS yet. Can't even blame UPS, but they didn't even reach them yet. You know what I love even more?
What?
Having a package scheduled, and then they claim, nah, it's been delayed because of the weather. Like, the weather is fine, though.
Mora, hurry the fuck up! Thank God.
Thank God she gets smacked to the ground. Luckily, they can't hit us due to their cutscene powers.
Nope. Whew.
Well, fuck that place very much.
Exactly.
Where do you think we are?
Said the poor lost soul as she lamented her fate.
Ugh! Again with these stupid bracelets.
Who are you? I want answers.
I am the Overseer. Fear requires an audience and a conductor.
Overseer.
You must go to the Vasek, where life begins.
What do you want from us?
Nice. Real nice.
I'm trying to think of something now.
Claire, look! Over there! The radio tower. Maybe we can send an SOS. Could use your help.
Okay, how do you feel about games that use either temporary licenses or freaking games that freaking have essentially famous celebrities that due to that could also essentially have it be delisted and impossible to reprint later.
It's fine.
I already shown you the Scott Pilgrim example, but another example is Final Fantasy and Crisis Core, and how they literally can't make an HD remaster of that game because of the fact that Genesis is
Listen, Moira, I'm really
played
sorry.
by
I don't know
a
what I
famous
got you mixed up
musician.
in. Muriel'll never forgive me.
This
And so
isn't
they would
your
have to get the
fault.
rights to use that person's likeness again.
Also,
And it's a
Mary
case
kicks
of
my ass.
you didn't think that
Bitches
through.
and moans and granny swears about everything.
Well now. Yeah, it's fine.
They feel like companies should run the risk of not being able to sell their game in the future for the moment of, hey, let's just have either this big property or have this famous person in it. Speaking of which, how do you feel about having big name celebrities who aren't exactly known for acting whatsoever or even good at it?
It's a 50-50.
Like they just put them in the game for the sake of we just put them in the game because it felt like, hey, they're popular and people will like them. And I'm thinking about, is this something that will actually improve this video game?
So?
No, it's dead.
And yes, one of my case in points is freaking
I'm gonna go check it out.
Ronda Rousey in Mortal Kombat 11,
Oh.
and how she's she's very bad at acting because she's not an actor, but they put her in because she's a famous person and not because she's good at acting. Like cases like that, where we're backing on their star power and not questioning whether or not they're actually fit for the job.
Right.
Oh, okay.
This better work.
Like, how would you feel if both
Is anyone picking
male
this
and
up?
female shepherd got
My name
replaced by someone
is
else
Moira
solely because
Barton.
that person's popular?
Coworkers and I were taken here against
I
our will.
wouldn't like it.
But
I
and
don't
as a
care.
result, the characters, the voice acting is awful.
Are we talking like
We have
RE1
these
levels of voice acting?
fucked up bracelets, and this crazy
No,
woman
not
is talking
even
to us.
funny bad. It's just bad.
Monsters.
Oh, then no.
Like a case in point being when Destiny 1
Send help,
first came out,
please.
the voice of the little Navi thing was voiced by Peter Dinklage.
Oh, one more time.
I've heard that name before.
He plays a character on Game of Thrones. He was also in the movie Pixels.
Is
He's like a short person.
yes, I've heard.
Like he voiced the thing in Destiny 1, so you hear him a lot. Problem is, he's really bad at voice acting.
Hmm.
Like it was just abysmal, and they later got rid of him and completely redubbed the entire thing with Nolan North instead.
Oh, okay.
And people were questioning whether or not that was a dick move or not to essentially just remove all of his work. But at the same time, he's not good at voice acting.
Natalia?
That's a character who works with Barry.
Oh, okay.
She uses the power of bricks to one-shot enemies.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous. Bullets? Nah. Let's just give this little girl a brick. Little girls love bricks. But yeah, just stuff like that. Let's just say this. Peter Dinklage can barely voice his own character in the Telltale Game of Thrones game.
Oh.
That's how bad he is.
Well,
He can barely voice act as himself. Like, dang. Dang, that is awkward. But you'd rather get a professional voice actor than just have some actor.
hmm.
Like, of course, there are times where you can have the best of both worlds, like Terry Crews, who's a good actor and voice actor.
Yeah. What? What is this?
But most of the time, you're gonna get that best of both worlds. Why is your dialogue so bad?
Please be alive.
Thus, we have the return of Barry Burton, here to save Claire and his kid. What will he find on this island? Can he succeed? Will he survive this endeavor? Why is there a Resident Evil manga? There's Talia.
Now you stay by the boat, little lady. I mean it. I've got some grown-up stuff to attend to, but I'll come back for you later, okay?
You can't just leave me.
No. No.
This also gives me a question.
It's too
What
dangerous.
if it was
for
a
you to
better
come along.
idea? Leaving a defenseless person in one isolated spot, or having them go with you?
I'd rather have them go with me.
Is there a little girl on this planet that will listen to me? All right, stay close.
It's just a whole
Go with me
entire
now.
thing of,
Come on.
like, you want them to be in a safe spot because you feel because it's safe, but there's no guarantee that it'll always be safe, and something bad could happen, and you're not there to do something.
I'd rather have them with me.
Radio tower. That's gotta be it.
There's that whole entire idea.
What are you doing all alone? Where are your parents?
I don't have any parents. And I don't know why I'm here. I just am.
She got you just like she got
Here's a
my
question:
baby.
how do you feel about amnesia in a plot?
I like it sometimes.
Because most people see it as essentially either a butt pull or lazy writing.
Oh.
Like pretty much saying how the whole entire point being, if the character knew who they were, then literally everything would be solved. Is the issue? It's a case of if you knew everything, then none of the plot would have happened.
Oh.
Or a case of the person with amnesia is generally always somebody super important who either becomes the main conflict or ends up wrapping up the plot. That's why generally people don't like the idea of amnesia in a plot.
You're not scared of me?
Like, granted, it's mostly done so that way
No.
the viewer and the character are learning things at the same time. So it's not the character knows everything and the player doesn't.
Watch out!
Otherwise, it creates some awkward situations. Like, for example, could you imagine Shepard in Mass Effect 3 asking people what a Reaper is?
What can you tell me about the Reapers?
No, not tell you about the Reaper. Like what is a Reaper?
Oh.
Imagine Mass Effect 3, Shepard asks someone, "What's a Reaper?"
That'd be weird.
And that's what essentially amnesia plotlines try
What's your
to
name, sweetie?
fix, to where you don't have a character who should know everything asking the dumbest questions.
What a pretty name.
It's like, you should already know this.
My name's Barry.
Barry?
Like, dude, come on, get the picture.
That's right, don't wear it out.
There's a whole entire case of freaking, if the character knew everything, then everything would have been fine, and they always remember things at the worst
Looks like
possible
this
moment.
Is the only way through.
Like, a point I make is what a Final Fantasy.
Whoa.
Where if the characters didn't have amnesia, then the plot wouldn't have happened. Like, if they were able to, like, if they didn't have their minds wiped, then none of the events of the game would have happened. Try to think of another case. Let's see. So another case that actively affects drastically affects the plot, though. Dang, I'm not going blank with this whole entire thing.
The monsters.
Monsters?
There's just a different question I try to think. How do you feel about bad endings in a game?
They disappoint me. I like happy endings.
Like, how do you feel about the idea that things could go horribly wrong?
It saddens me.
Must be the infected the brief mentioned.
I've seen some people try to say they just hate the idea of bad endings in general.
Oh.
Now, here's a greater question. How do you feel about a bad ending that's directly caused by the player's actions?
And that's just my fucking fault.
Over there. Another one.
How do you know?
Like, one case in point being Tales of Xillia 2
See
has a
them.
bad ending that the player has to pretty much achieve. And it's a case of just like, you had to work to do this, and your end result is essentially just a bad ending.
Why? I'm not scared.
Wow.
Yes, little gold points, and it lets
There's something
Barry
ahead.
know where things are and where the monsters are. So prepare to enjoy hearing the monsters coming.
Her and her objection finger.
You just let me handle this one.
See, it's like how Phoenix Wright,
There's something ahead.
Justice for All has a bad ending.
Yeah, I remember. I was stuck in that game for a while because of that fucking final case.
I had to run into that bad ending deliberately because I didn't find it difficult. The only one I have an actual issue with is Miles Edgeworth 1.
Oh.
So it's because you have one specific, like, the game felt lies to you what you're supposed to be doing. Like, Edgeworth constantly says one thing, but then it's like, no, you're supposed to be doing something else entirely. So it's like, why is Edgeworth saying that then?
Eureka!
Edgeworth 1's not great.
I never finished Edgeworth 1. I stopped at when they went back and like what's her name was a little kid.
Flashback?
Yeah. Like it was with her father or something.
Yeah, it was a case of what happened to her. Her dad got murdered. Trying to figure out who the murderer was, and also the whole entire thing of how Edgeworth knows how Kate knows Edgeworth.
Yeah.
And also showing just how Edgeworth did things early on, with Von Karma as essentially his mentor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Edgeworth 2 goes even further back, where he plays Edgeworth's dad for a flashback case.
Why did they never bring that to North America?
I will forever say Edgeworth 2 is my favorite Ace Attorney game.
Yeah.
It has the best writing, best everything in the series. Music's debatable because music's always very debatable, but I generally like the tracks in Miles Edgeworth 2. But that was the one that never got brought over, just like how the great Ace Attorney also won't get brought over, but that's more due to copyright and cultural things.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I think I mentioned about Edgeworth 2. Trying to think of a negative for Edgeworth 2, but honestly can't really think of any.
Yeah.
Just doesn't really have any major issues. Any issues, and at least there's that fan translation.
Yeah.
Which even went out of their way to put in memes, just so you know it's a genuine Ace Attorney experience.
There's a hole here.
Edgeworth's like, you what, mate?
No, not like that.
Ah.
There's a point where you find like this statue on a building. It's of a horse, but they make a My Little Pony joke instead.
Oh.
Or one where they make a Blade Attack on Titan reference by having someone saying, on that day, humanity had a grim reminder.
You actually die from a brick.
You can also stealth by enemies and hit them with a brick as well. Yeah, like I said, the little girl with bricks is super powerful. Just open the door.
I had to throw the brick apparently.
Clear.
You just pick up the bricks?
I had a brick in my hand and it wasn't letting me open the door once I
But
threw it.
did you pick it back up?
Oh no.
Leave no bricks behind. You don't understand, man. You got something more powerful than a nuke in your hands. That is how good she is with a brick.
More powerful than Chris's fists?
Chris's fist wish they can one-shot things. Let's see what else to think of. Really, there's much else negative to say about Ace Attorney 2. It just works.
It just works.
I said it actually works. Has good writing, has good characters, has nice twists and turns, and all the cases 1 through 4 actually matter in the game. Whereas in a Phoenix Wright game, generally the third cases would never matter. And it's like, why are we doing this? Like, freaking, what we got to list off? Like, freaking Ace Attorney 1. The third case was the thing with... No, that one actually, that one surprisingly actually... I don't want to say it mattered, but technically, Old Bag does keep coming back.
I
Do we
remember
count-
her.
Do we count that as mattering?
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, it does, because she comes back, and so does the defendant. Keeps coming back in other games. So dang it. Dang it, that person was wrong. I think every game's third case. They're mostly basing it off of freaking Justice for All's third case, which is the epitome of why does this exist?
Hmm.
Hey Armando, how much do you love Acro?
Acro? What is Acro?
The case with freaking Maximilian, the freaking magician.
Oh, that guy was weird.
That case was horrible.
He was so fucking weird.
The whole case was bad, horrible, and a lot of things just make no sense. Like, there's always a joke about you have to think about things in Phoenix Wright logic, because Phoenix Wright logic doesn't make any sense. And the fact they actually wanted you to feel bad for the culprit in the end. It's like, no. No. You tried to murder the guy you thought of as a father's kid over an accident. No, you do not deserve sympathy. F you. You go to jail and you die.
There's something on the floor.
That's another instance would be freaking what was it? Oh yeah, the most BS moment of that case being, how did the culprit die and why did the culprit have Maximilian's freaking cape on it? Well, you see, when the statue hit the head of the victim, it managed to somehow make the cape fly off his body and fly on top of the freaking statue.
Yep.
And if that wasn't enough, this was the dumbest plan ever. Your plan was to have a statue lift up and then drop it on someone's head, but the plan also made it to where you couldn't even see the victim. So you couldn't even make sure.
Well, that's normal.
What? And then, not only that, no one in the police freaking checked the wheelchair, his wheelchair. Which makes it even dumber. No one checked his wheelchair for the murder weapon.
Yeah.
That's what makes it even dumber. What even else? What was the third case of the third game? At the first case, was the first case the flashback case?
I think so.
Yeah, first case was flashback case where she busted out Phoenix. Well, so just Google this.
I think it was the tiger guy, the one that was impersonating Phoenix.
But that was the third. Yeah, that one really had nothing to do with anything. And with all Super Die nothing to do with anything.
I throw a brick.
Why bother having cases that literally don't matter and are super dumb? Like, my god. Trying to remember what the inconsequential case of freaking Apollo Justice was.
The panty thief guy.
Oh yeah. That whole entire thing. And the thing with the mafia boss's son, and that guy being the biggest idiot on the planet, who somehow isn't dead yet. Well, his story, I remember someone said. Okay, this one's a question of, am I the a-hole? So, person has grandfather, right?
Yeah.
Grandfather is millionaire, very rich. The grandfather got the money by essentially owning slaves.
Oof.
Grandpa dies. Grandpa left inheritance to the writer and the writer's cousin. The writer's cousin donates all their money and then demands that the writer does the same. But it's like, you realize how much of my life could be fixed with this money, though. It's like, you'd be a horrible person for taking the blood money. It's like, and so the question: are they the a-hole for wanting to keep the money?
Well,
How'd I do?
I think no.
You did great.
Because simple, that's truly blood money and shouldn't have been used. Why'd you donate it? If you
Can't
truly
just
feel that
leave
money
it
shouldn't have
to
been
you.
used, why'd you donate it? Also, bigger issue of why. Also, the reason the writer says why they don't donate it is because apparently, because the story takes place in South Africa, because the whole entire slave dealing happened in South Africa. South Africa literally has no trustworthy charities.
well,
Like, it's literally a case of you literally can't trust any of those companies to begin with. But the cousin's like, you're a horrible person if you keep it. It's like, yeah, but I also would get my life straight if I kept it. So F you. Like, why did you give the money to charity? It shouldn't be used. So, are they the a-hole?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Wow, why?
Cause like, that's fucking dirty money.
Are you the reason for it being dirty money?
Yeah.
No, are you the reason? Is the writer the reason why it's dirty money?
Well, what his family did.
And that wasn't that's something that's not their fault. And important question: how much money have you touched in your life, and how much of that money was dirty money?
Oh.
Of all the bills and coins you've ever touched in your life, how much of that was dirty money?
How would I know?
Exactly the point. Anything can be dirty money because you don't know. And once again, if it's dirty money, why would you give it to charity? Wouldn't that mean a charity is now handling dirty money? Isn't this? Are you essentially pushing the buck of pretty much pushing the responsibility to someone else?
Yeah.
Because not the case of the case of you don't want to use this because you feel like because you feel guilty, but you give it to the charity. Wouldn't they also feel guilty, or what? Are you just gonna not tell them where it came from?
Probably not tell them, I guess.
You recognize any of this?
Then what's the difference?
No.
I have no fucking clue.
Sorry.
What is the difference? It's still dirty money. It's just the fact that
alright.
you don't tell them where it came from, and for you to know, you wouldn't know where it came from. If you didn't know where it came from, would you be
Almost there.
complaining?
Still with me?
There's a mouse on your screen.
Yeah.
Just
I
noticed
have
that.
legs.
What? Where?
On the right side of your screen is a mouse.
There's no mouse on my screen.
The fuck?
It's probably the same thing that I experienced when I watched you play things. I saw a mouse.
See what else.
What
See
do
if
I
I can
do?
try and find questions
You need to break the
of.
lock. See anything around there you can use?
See if I can find some stories. Let's see. Uh,
Good work, sweetie.
all right. Here's a question of am I the a-hole? So
You
person
stick close to me,
goes to let's see. Person goes to a school a school dance with with their with their friend and friend's sister, right?
Okay.
Friend's sister keeps flirting with them, and they want nothing to do with it. Even tries to kiss them, but they still want nothing to do with it for the reason of they feel like it would jeopardize their friendship with their friend, and the sister thinks that it's essentially they're essentially a bad person for essentially you don't want to date someone on the premise of you feel like it would jeopardize your relationship with someone else. And how that's not fair to them.
Oh.
So are they a
Something out
hole?
there.
No.
Are they a hole for like the premise? It comes down to the reason they're rejecting them. It's not the act; it's the reason.
Okay.
Stay back.
Oh, you know what time it is? Motherfucker.
Where'd it go?
Some gonna be some cheap jump scare bullshit.
Oh wow, these things are actually labeled by what people thought of. Let's see.
Hey. What's that?
Let's see.
What's wrong?
I think I saw something.
Yeah, I bet this son of a bitch here.
All right, then here's one. So a person goes to bars with their wife, right?
Okay.
And then when they get to the bar, they generally both separate, so that way, so they can go socialize with people, right?
Okay.
The writer occasionally sees his wife talking with someone, and he can tell, he can tell that the man talking to her is like is very into her. Apparently, every single time this happens,
There's
he then
something ahead.
essentially does something. She gets scared by that.
Fucking hell.
He essentially does something to pretty much signal to the guy that she's taken,
Okay.
which, according to them, could essentially range from saying like she's so fun, say stuff like she's so funny, that's why I married her, or giving her a compliment, or even giving her a kiss on a kiss on the cheek. Like, here's the thing. All the wife's doing is essentially normal socializing with people, but they can end up being too afraid of having some other person who clearly has the intention to flirt with
I
her,
don't
to
know,
talk,
honey.
to,
Let's
not
keep our
not
eyes
not knowing that
peeled
she's
in
married.
case there's more.
So are they the a-hole? Cause I say yes.
Yeah.
I say yes because it comes down to you don't trust them.
Yeah.
Then you don't trust you don't trust not only do you not trust your wife, you also don't trust these people. Like if it's perfectly normal conversation, then what's the harm? Yeah. And it's like maybe it's like ready. Oh my god. Ooh, this one's gonna be a doozy. Let's see. All right, so here's the story. So you have the vice president of the vice president of a section of a company, right?
Okay.
One of their employees ends up having both their parents pass away in a car accident. They give the person a month's paid leave to they have time to grieve. Then once the person comes back, they end up being essentially very unmotivated, and essentially they're not doing their job probably anymore.
Okay.
The person then decides to pretty much give the guy the bad news that if he can't get his work back up, then he has to be fired, only for the person to then suddenly become super motivated in their rage and start pretty much being as unprofessional as possible, and then leaving.
Had some of the same symptoms as
So, question: are they the a-hole for firing them?
Robo?
Kinda.
It's a virus some bad people used in Africa a couple of years ago. Question is, how did it get out here?
Honestly, I think not, for the reason of you're literally jeopardizing the business. Like, I understand you need time to grieve, but at the same time, you're literally doing it at the expense of everyone around you. Is the problem? Like, why should the whole company have to suffer for it?
Okay.
Like, if it was like below average, it'd be fine. But to the point where it's like nothing's getting done and people know about it, it's like
Probably break this lock.
you literally can't. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna wait like a year or so for them to finally be productive again, and essentially pay someone for not doing their job?
Okay. Alright.
Like, that's the question. Are you gonna be paying someone for not doing their job?
No.
So you're gonna fire them.
They're back. Hide.
Well, that's the whole issue. Like, the other aspect is you are paying someone to essentially not do their job.
That's not nice.
Let's see. Some people are actually saying that from a business standpoint, that it would actually be cheaper to keep the guy around than get someone else. It actually from a business sense will be cheaper to help the guy through his issues rather than to just get rid of them.
Now we're talking.
Let's see.
The radio tower's just ahead.
So yeah, some people saying that from a business standpoint, it would actually take way longer to find someone of that skill level again.
Gee, I wonder what this could be used for.
I don't know, man. It's just there for decoration in the lore.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's see.
Great. We're gonna have to smash through the gate.
We're not alone.
Wake up the beer and nachos.
I reread because one part's hard to read.
What the fuck? Are we Silent Hill? Why is the alarm ringing?
Because why not? Okay, this one's a weird one. So they don't really specify, but apparently they made some. Okay, here's the situation. They told their daughter and stepdaughter that if they ever get into a bad situation, that they can always call their dad to bail them out, right?
Okay.
So their stepdaughter snuck out of the house and went to a party and essentially underage drank. And called their dad because she was panicking the fact that she was so drunk that she was about to pass out.
Okay.
Dad does show up and pick her up and everything, but the one thing they didn't do was tell the wife what happened.
Okay.
So are they the a-hole for not telling the wife what happened?
No.
So if it's because pretty much how they put it is saying that are they the a-hole for not telling the wife what happened with her kid, his stepdaughters.
Oh.
I guess the wife's kid, but is he the a-hole for essentially going out on an emergency and an emergency that could get her in big trouble because underage drinking. So it's like are they the a-hole for not telling their wife that this happened?
No, if the daughter wants, she can tell him.
Oh, there you go. And the reason they don't tell her is because part of the deal was that he actually wanted title on them because he believes that teenagers make mistakes. So there's no reason to pretty much make a bad situation worse. That's the whole entire reason for not wanting to tell. It's like, you made a mistake. I know everyone makes mistakes as a teenager. It's part of life. And so far, everyone joining the whole consensus is you're not the a-hole. And if you do end up telling your wife, tell the kid first, so that way it doesn't seem like you just told the wife behind the kid's back.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a big one. Let's see. Ooh. This is an interesting one.
Really?
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Who's the master of unlocking now?
Told you references. An interesting one. So, mother-in-law, pretty much makes family quotes, right?
Okay.
But she won't make a quote for the writer because she won't make a quote for the writer because of the fact that the writer has no children. And she feel like essentially there would be enough people to put on the quote to actually justify making it. Justify making it, and a person tries to bargain by telling them to include their 2 dogs, but it's like, nah, I'm not doing that. And I started getting upset. I'm upset, and eventually their son, eventually their sister-in-law said, "That's enough. You need to stop bugging. You need to stop bugging the mom about this." Do you feel they're the a-hole?
No.
I was saying,
Well,
do you feel saying,
really long
do you feel the mother-in-law has to make a family quote for them, despite the fact that they have no kids, so it would just be 2 people on it, and that's that's not enough to justify. That the mom feels it's not enough to justify making an entire quote for.
I mean, eventually there'll be more. I don't see the harm.
You're implying the person ever plans to have kids.
Maybe. We don't know.
Let's see. But yeah, essentially, this person has no plans for kids. Has no plans for kids, and the requirement is you need to have kids for me to make one of these for you. And pretty much people feel it as you are the a-hole with an asterisk, with an asterisk. Like
Say that
you're right to feel upset because the mom's basically slamming you for not having children, but at the same time you can't force someone to do something they don't want to.
Your daughter's name is Moira?
Yeah. Why?
Other people point to the aspect of just how much labor it goes into a quote,
Hey, kid,
so to not have a design in mind, just like no.
Moira. She's dead.
Excuse the fuck out of me.
What?
Alright, first you tell me that Barry's here 6 months later. And now this magical, psychic, OP little girl is telling me that Moira's dead. Alright?
Are they actually dead?
Revelations 2.
Because the girl was
Moira
there.
trying to get to that tower when I was with her.
I need you to take me there. Can you do that?
When I was with her.
But if we've been infected with something,
I promise I'll catch up. Is this the place? The Placid?
don't be scared.
So you finally came. I
We are this motherfucking island!
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that is episode 1, Resident Evil Revelations 2. Next episode, Contemplation. You don't want to miss it. So how was episode 1, Armando?
Alright.